exact theory. And this is what I'm going to break down in today's trading session, right? So this was a trade that I took, right? So what we can see here, before we go on to that, let's just go to the pre-market plan. So I've got this over here. So what does the pre-market plan typically look like? So this is what the pre-market plan looks like just before market open. So this is 9:26. So between 9 and 9:30 Eastern, I will analyze the markets, right? I will try and see what's going on. So in this region here, we have key level 1, like I just described, key level 2, 3, and then 4. So typically, if you're in a trading session, you only need 1, maximum 2 levels per day. So the reason I say that is because let's break down the New York session. So when we came into New York session, which was somewhere around here, what can you see, right? So even from my markings, it should become pretty obvious what I'm looking for. So coming into the New York session, now, whenever you come into New York session, the only 3 things you need to become a successful trader is you need this. You need a key level, you need to have an entry in the key level, and you need to know what's happening in the key level, so order flow. So on the lower time frames, these are the only 3 things you need to be successful, right? So for example, the trade here, let's call this 2, 3, and then 4. Now you can only execute at one of these levels, and it's your job to know which level to trade from. So you're waiting for a key level. So assuming you have your key levels correct. So this is more like a flow chart. What I mean by that is if your key level is off, 2 will be off, and then 3 will be off, right? So you can be the best order flow reader in the world. If you don't understand where the limit orders are, or if you're not confident in executing with order flow, it's all for nothing. So you need all 3 of them to align. So once you've understood that, let's say you have your 3 levels like this, right? So the plan is quite simple, right? Let's put this to one side. The plan is typically not that complicated, right? What you are looking for in the markets is something repeatable. Repeatable strategies come from understanding that you need to do the same thing every day. So if you want repeatable results, you need to have a repeatable input. And this is the repeatable input right here. So if you find yourself trading and it's inconsistent or it's not repeatable, it's typically because you're missing one or probably all 3 of these things. So first, what I do is I wait for the first 15 minutes. So I don't trade the first 15 minutes, or I very rarely trade the first 15 minutes. And I call this the 15-minute range. Some people call this the opening range breakout. I don't want to confuse it with that, because the opening range breakout is often, people mess up with that because they don't know either how to read the key levels, or they don't have the right order flow system in place. That's why I don't like to call it the orb. I prefer to call it the 15-minute range. Now, once you do that, you want to have an entry into a key level. So let's just dive into 1 and 2 first. So 9:30, the market opens, and you're typically waiting for 9:45. So there is the first 15 minutes right there. So this is 9:30, this is 9:45. There you go. This is the first 15 minutes. So what we can see here, typically you can either trade from 2 up to 3, and then maybe up to 4. Or if you want to be safer, you can wait for a break above the 15-minute range, and you can trade from 3 up to 4. So a repeatable system simply comes down to your repeatable action. So inputs and outputs.